Good morning. Thank you for being here. So it's really an honor for me to work closely with some of the incredible partners that are in the ecosystem that Steve mentioned yesterday. And together with those partners, we are providing pre-integrated solutions and outcomes to all of you so that you don't have to figure out how to get our stuff to work together, as Ryan mentioned yesterday. So today we'll be hearing from 3 of those key strategic technology partners of ours. And these 3 are actually really interesting because they span across the entire set of areas that the Tanium converged endpoint platform touches, from ops to security, from visibility to control and remediation. So we'll be hearing from Salesforce, which is bringing a next-generation IT service management product powered by Tanium to their customers. We'll be hearing from AWS about how they enable Tanium Cloud to be really easily purchased, deployed, and adopted by you, and also some cool integrations we're working on to provide security data to the industry. And then finally, the legendary security firm Mandiant will be talking about how they're using the investigation and remediation capabilities that Stephanie talked about yesterday to really make their incident response and managed defense services even faster and better to reduce that risk that accumulates over time, as Steve mentioned yesterday. So please join me in welcoming first Rondi Mertes, the Vice President of Product Management at Salesforce, to the stage. And then next, I'd like to welcome Teddy Powers, the Senior Manager of Technology Partnerships from Mandiant. And then finally, we have Phillip Simpson, Principal Security Strategy at AWS. So thank you all so much for being here. It's great to have you here. I'd like to ask each of you to talk a little bit about a couple of things. Basically, a little bit about yourself and your company, how you're working with Tanium and the value that's delivering, and then any customer stories that you think might be relevant for folks to hear. So I'll start off with you, Phillip.
Perfect. First of all, thank you for having us here. My name is Phillip Simpson, and I'm a security strategist with the AWS partner organization. I think I've been in cybersecurity my entire adult life, and I was reminded of this yesterday when I saw a colleague in the hallway, and the last time I saw them was 20 years ago. We were flying to Seattle to take the original CISSP test, which I know lots of folks in this room have gone through, but 20 years ago, this was paperwork. You flew to Seattle, you had to take it in Seattle, and then you spent 6 hours answering questions on a Scantron. And it's a bit of foreshadowing because my job these days is trying to figure out how to reduce security paperwork and make it easier for customers to find and buy software. So today I work for the AWS Marketplace, and I know many people will know AWS in the room, but perhaps not as much about Marketplace. So it's a 10-year-old service within AWS, and it really helps customers find, buy, and deploy third-party software. So we have great partners like Tanium, who list their product in Marketplace, and with just a few clicks, an AWS customer can do a free trial or buy that software. They can buy associated services that go with it, and makes it really easy for customers to get the software they need. I think we all agree that in security, speed is critical, and Marketplace is really focused on how do we make it easier for customers to get access to the right tools as quickly as possible. And Rob mentioned we've made some innovations in this space recently. So about 2 months ago, AWS announced a new feature called Vendor Insights. And I know many people in this room have lived this pain, so I'll talk about it a little bit, which is when you buy new software in this day and age, you can't just deploy it at will. That software has to be vetted by your compliance teams. And that vetting process is called vendor risk assessment. The process today, ironically, is paperwork. If I want to buy new software, my compliance team will send that software provider a giant questionnaire, 300 questions, 600 questions, even 900 questions. And the questions aren't particularly hard. It's things like, hey, software provider, if we want to use your software and we give you our corporate information, how will you protect that information? Will you encrypt it? What kind of encryption will you use? How often will you rotate those keys? Who has access to the keys? And do you background check that person? So not hard questions, but this takes time. And as we've learned in the sessions at this conference, time is not something you have a lot of in security. And customers tell us these questionnaires add about 8 to 10 weeks to the time it takes them to start using software. And I'm sure many of you have been on the other end of these spreadsheets answering the questions. So we worked with our customers, and they identified this as one of the top problems that slows them down during a security event is getting access to the right tools quickly. And so Vendor Insights took an approach where we worked with the customers to identify the top 125 questions they have to know to vet that software and try and make that more automated. So if the question was, do you background check your employees? We can gather that information in advance by having the software vendor give us an ISO 27001 or an audit they've completed recently. But more interestingly is a question that we can truly automate, which is that SaaS platform encrypting data? Well, as a cloud service provider, by working with our partners, we can validate and automate the gathering of that information. So every single week, we can check, are they still encrypting information? Is it still being stored in the countries they told customers it would be sold in? So it really allows customers to get access to the software they need much faster, saving 8 to 10 weeks, as well as giving them much more up-to-date information. We're not giving them an audit from a year ago. It's information we've validated in the past week. So it really met that customer need of, help me get security software faster and more up-to-date information.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, again, just the automation and the speed to actually delivering results, I think, is super exciting. Thank you. Rondi, would you like to go next?
Absolutely, and thank you for letting me come and join you all today. So my name is Rondi Mertes, and I'm with Salesforce, and I'm responsible for our employee service solution. And I've been building products that are around employee experience for over 10 years, so it's something that I'm really passionate about. Our employee service solution was launched in March of 2021, and what we've really done at Salesforce is take advantage of what we have as a service platform supporting customers and turned that to internal use cases. And our partnership with Tanium is key to be able to provide that because IT service is such a critical part of what an employee experiences day to day. And what we've been able to do with our partnership is really bring together two best-of-breed solutions with Tanium's endpoint management capabilities and the ability to provide great IT service agent experiences, and then what we do on the employee side. And when you think about what employees need, they need to be able to quickly find knowledge, log tickets, and get quick resolution to those tickets. And so with the IT service agent, getting all of those capabilities brought in from Tanium, they're able to monitor, track, resolve, and diagnose all from one single place, which is a very unique product in the market. And I think what we're able to do is very unique in what our customers would otherwise have to do is integrate a whole bunch of systems together. So I think we're really bringing something unique to the market. And a customer that we have recently seen gone live is a great example of that, and that's Cracker Barrel. So if you all aren't familiar with Cracker Barrel, they provide home-style cooking, restaurants, and retail shops across the United States, over 660. And if any of you haven't purchased your Thanksgiving dinners yet and you need a last-minute place to go, you can go online and get it from Cracker Barrel. So just a little plug for our joint customer. But very homey style, and customer service is really important to them. And their goal was to be able to transform their employee experience and modernize their IT service centers. Because what they were finding is that their staff at their restaurant sites were spending a ton of time on the phone and away from supporting their guests. And so what they realized, and what many of our customers realize, is the critical integration or critical synergies between providing great employee service and how that in turn allows you to create great customer service. And so they went live in only 4 months, which I also think is remarkable. And they were able to really transform that experience for their employees. And for their IT service agents, the IT service agents were able to remediate on the fly issues. And this led to much more frequent first call resolution, as well as lowering the overall time to resolve cases. So really a great success story.
Awesome. Thank you, Rondi. And again, this theme of using our real-time, accurate and complete endpoint data to drive faster resolution, essentially, right? Which makes you more secure and operate better. So that's awesome. Great. And then, Teddy, go ahead from the Mandiant perspective.
Hey, I am Teddy Powers from Mandiant. For those of you who might not be familiar with Mandiant, we are a cybersecurity intel and services firm, highly concentrated around incident response, managed defense. So think of us as helping to augment your security teams along with a handful of product offerings and a heavy concentration in intel due to so much of that incident response work that we do. So I am very literally and figuratively the new kid on the block from being at this company for about 4 months. And as we kind of get our partnership with Tanium up and running, we're really concentrated on taking advantage of what the XEM Tanium platform has to offer in terms of speed and scale when it comes to your security operations. And I think one of the things that we're really excited about is being able, given the divestiture, being a bit more vendor agnostic, right? So having the opportunity to work with partners like Tanium who've been so forward thinking and able to flex in the IT and ops and combining that with security data, it just ends up being so important for when our team sort of drops in, if you will, when it's an incident or whether they're providing that day-to-day managed defense support. So that's kind of part one of the forward-looking relationship. And I wish I could offer you Cracker Barrel gift cards or any sort of great customer story, but I'm sure those are to come looking forward. Just cannot be more excited to be working with Tanium, Rob, and so many of the other great partners in Tanium's ecosystem that you might see on the floor today. If I think about the other part of it is being able to take advantage, hopefully many of you in the room were able to catch Stephanie Aceva's presentation around threat response yesterday. So looking to have what we're seeing as a two-way street for a powered by Mandiant approach for our Mandiant Advantage threat intelligence. So taking the intel our teams are seeing and offering that to those customers who are using threat response to help them drive decisions, responding, and all sorts of other security contexts that they would not have been previously able to get otherwise. So that's the Powered by Mandiant approach. And then the Powered by Tanium approach is where we're going to be able to leverage Tanium in those incident response and managed defense engagements.
Awesome. Thanks, Teddy. And again, the goal here being to reduce that 205-day average time to respond to something down to hours and minutes, right? And I
Definitely.
think that's really going to deliver great outcomes. Okay, so I'd just be interested in your thoughts in kind of what the future looks like, where you see these partnerships going, where you see the industry going. Just any thoughts on that? Phillip, I'll let you kick that off.
Sure. I mean, I think that the way it works at AWS is we ask our customers, tell us what we should build. I never thought I would say I was passionate about paperwork, but I'm pretty passionate about getting rid of paperwork, and so I certainly see more of that. We launched another feature recently, which is really on the legal side. So when you're buying software, one of the slowest parts is when you get the lawyers involved and the T's and C's that go back and forth. And customers told us, fix this for us. And so we worked with our customers and with the sellers and asked, hey, do you have a common contract? And they didn't. And so AWS came up with a common contract, a very fair and balanced sort of contract that allows customers to say, hey, we're good with this. And the sellers say, we're also good with it, and eliminate the need for those weeks of back and forth, and certainly expenses of lawyers are not cheap. So I think our focus really is on trying to find areas where we can use automation to improve the speed that customers can do things, and we'll continue to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, the lawyers are always a bit of a cog in the process, aren't they? Either of you two, Rondi or Teddy, have any comments?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited about the future of our partnership. When we think about what we're able to deliver, it's this one-stop shop for IT agents, so they don't have to swivel chair around and look at other solutions and other products. And so we're going to be able to integrate more of the Tanium solutions into that experience, which I think will be amazing. So everything from compliance and being able to track vulnerabilities, bringing that all into that one-stop shop. So as that IT service agent is trying to serve the needs of a specific ticket, they don't have to look elsewhere. So that's one area that I think will really improve the overall experience for IT service agents. And then the other things that we're also looking at is other kinds of integrations that we can bring into the solution, whether it's Screen Meet, so you can remote in, or actually doing more with our Einstein capabilities so that we can do more AI ops style of detecting in advance incidents occurring. So there's so many opportunities for the future that I think we can leverage.
Yeah, I think the automation that can be driven off of analytics like that, especially when you have really good data, powering that. I mean, ML and AI aren't magic, and when you don't have the right data, you're not going to get the right answer.
Yeah.
But with great data and with those analytics capabilities, you can start
Definitely.
to predict problems and fix them before they happen.
Yeah, and that's another area where Better Together really speaks to this partnership, because we're able to take advantage of what Salesforce has to offer in process automation and orchestration, and take all that great data that's available from Tanium and endpoint management to do some of this more predictive analysis.
Yeah, absolutely. Any last comments there, Teddy?
I guess I would say I'm excited both on behalf of our consultants and for our customers. So for anybody out there who's on the security side, and you think about the stress that goes on in an incident, to have this newfound flexibility that Mandiant has to be able to use the technologies that are already in place. So being able to come into an environment where you have Tanium deployed and our consultants are able to use the tech that you have in place already is just going to make a world of difference from their perspective of not saying, hey, we need to get something else up and running. We're able to use your trusted technologies that are already working for you in so many different ways. And I think, Rob, you'd kind of mentioned before in a conversation we had yesterday about that ability to take the security data and the relevant ops data and combine those. So when you have to go and take that action, when you're working through that incident, it becomes increasingly crucial. So that's what's got me most excited about the partnership looking forward.
Awesome. Yeah, we're super excited. Well, on that note, thank you again, all three of you. I think this was a great conversation. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll look forward to continuing. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Super.